Skål! Simon Rainier, links are inside out of Kamloops, British Columbia. And I just changed my shirt so it wasn't blatantly obvious. I'm recording multiple videos on one day. So, Vikings are cool. Viking swords are cool. Viking weaponry is cool. Viking sailing is especially cool. But I don't have a boat. So, I want to do a quick review of the Blackfencer Viking sword. This is a synthetic practice sword from Blackfencer. And I haven't been able to find any reviews on it, so I thought I would do on my own. I'm the kind of person who likes to read everything they possibly can before buying something, and since there wasn't a dedicated review out there, it was a little disappointing for me. Even after I've bought something, I'll often go and check reviews and see kind of how other people's opinions line up with my own. So, throwing this out into the world. Now, very first thing, taking it out of its box, picking it up, and it's just, oh yeah. This is a great feeling sword in the hand. Sometimes you pick up a sword and you can tell it just wants to do something. This sword just wants to cut. Now, my club doesn't practice Viking swordplay. In fact, I don't know of any club in the interior that does, but at the same time, it's an area of interest to me. I have sort of on my list of projects to do, building a Viking shield to go with it. But for now, I have this, and I gotta say, it's pretty great. It's well balanced, feels great in the hand. Like I said, it just wants to move. One of the things I really appreciate is just how tight that grip fits my hand, which is very period. Viking era swords had very, very small handles compared to sort of the later medieval counterparts. If I grab something off the wall, like this arming sword, grabbing it right up near the guard, there's still quite a bit of space at the bottom, so I can spread my hand out a little more. Viking swords, on the other hand, very, very close grips. This pommel shape here, which is very, very common, seems to actively work against extending your grip. Now, as you extend out, it can go sort of beside if you shift your grip around a little bit, and there's a lot of good information to suggest that's how it was used. There's other theories that it's meant to be held tight in the fist and more of a slicing, chopping motion. I don't really have an opinion on that at this point because I just haven't done enough of stuff like this. So with that in mind, draw your own conclusions, play with it. Maybe I'll figure it out further down the line when I have more chance to study and when I have a proper shield to go with it. Common wisdom is that the Viking sword was only ever used with a shield. I don't like that kind of historical absolutism. I promise you there were times when these swords were used on their own. We know for a fact Viking shields broke. Maybe sometimes you don't have a replacement. So anyway, that's a separate tangent. Back to the sword. I really appreciate that for what it is, for a training sword, it has this tight a grip. Most training swords do not. Most swords are extended in the handle in order to accommodate something like this. Sticking my usual sparring gloves in, it just doesn't fit the handle unless I loop a finger over the guard there, which was shown in tapestries and so forth. So we know people did do this occasionally. Having said that, my understanding is if you have a really big shield, your hand is not as much of a target. So that could be all right. With training though, we almost always wear gloves because our fingers are precious and we like to keep them. Worth mentioning, if I throw on the Spez Heavy glove, fits a little better in the hand. It just means I don't have a lot of mobility in the hand. So take that for what you will. Personally, I like that this is a tight grip, but if you have particularly large hands or you want to be doing a lot of stuff in gloves, this might not be the model for you, I'm afraid. It's really the only major negative thing I can say about it. It doesn't have a lot of flex because it is a very, very wide blade and a very thick thick blade that way as well. But at the same time, it's mostly meant to be used for cutting anyway. So as long as you're not too stabby with it, you should be okay. And control is always going to be your first thing anyway. So knowing that this doesn't flex a lot, you shouldn't be really jamming it into someone anyway. Yeah, so in terms of kind of on my own standard of would I buy this again? Heck yeah. I want like 6 more of these so I can outfit a small army. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon, but if you're looking for like a really good feeling Viking trainer, this is definitely a good way to go. I'll try to get some video of us using these on our sparring time as well, just for fun. And yeah, it's an awesome sword. I love it.